does prove is the story that he's telling now, he may have told police way back when, and they didn't put it in the file. What was in the file, Jug?
No. They put it in the file, absolutely. I guarantee you he told them that, Nancy. I promise you, because the next night after Beth and I went in there, Beth gave a statement. I didn't. They didn't even ask for my statement until like two weeks later, like the 15th, which was crazy because all my friends were down there. They could have given them all the information they wanted, but they took Beth's. The very next night, they came out to a restaurant where we were there, and Dennis Jacobs said, I need you to redo another statement, and they tore that statement up. So,
why?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, ask them. Get Von der Straten on TV. See why he won't come on there. Ask him why he told me if I didn't keep my mouth shut that he was going to stop the investigation, you know. I would like to see him.
So you're telling me that an Aruban investigator told you if you didn't be quiet and quit questioning the investigation, that they would quit investigating, right?
Absolutely. And I challenge him to come on here and say that he didn't say that to me, because I think he, like Paulus Vandersloot, are both cowards. They need to come on and clear this thing up. They could have solved it in the first 2 days, 3 days.
With me tonight is Jug Twitty. This is Natalee's stepfather. Let's go out to the lines. We're taking your calls live out to Sherry in Canada. Hi, Sherry.
Hi. My condolences to the family, and I'm glad they're finally getting some answers. This has exactly been my question, what you're talking about right now. It seems to me the Aruban government has covered up this right from the beginning, because why else would they be asking about epilepsy to the family? The only medical question they asked, and now, all these years later, they're talking about it again because it's been brought up in a video. Like, what are they covering up, and why are they covering up, and how can we make them accountable for this cover-up?
You know, back to you, Jug. With me is Natalee Holloway's stepfather. Jug, if there is a cover-up, why?
I think, you know, things like this have probably happened on the island before, and maybe people got away with it, and you know, the mass media that showed up down there, they just couldn't cover it up. And why they didn't come out and say, if it was an accident, I mean, I'm sure, I really truly feel that he gave her some kind of drug, and then, you know, if something happened to her, why not be a man and just say, look, this happened, but I knew when they wouldn't help us come look for her the next day, and he goes out and starts hiring attorneys and everything, that there was something bad.
What do you make of this secretly taped video confession he gave to one of his buddies? I mean, this isn't just on one occasion, Jug. He talked to this guy who he thought was a dope dealer. He talked to this guy for days and days and days, and he, on 10 separate occasions over all of these months, brought up the same story of how he was with Natalee when she died. What do you make of it?
And I agree, he was with Natalee when she died. I mean, whether Deepak and Satish were there, I don't know, but they know too. And now that, I wish they would come out and say something. Now that he said they didn't have anything to do with it, what do they have to lose?
Take a listen. Take a listen to Jorn Vandersloot.
And she just came down from on top of the bar. She just came up to me. Who? Natalee. Come take a jelly shot of me. So the whore jumped on the bar and she wanted me to take a jelly shot out of her navel. I did it. Then she says, so now you have to buy me a drink. So I say, what do you want? She says, what's good? I say, a shot of Bacardi, 151. She says, okay, that's fine. So she takes a shot of Bacardi, 151. She takes it, and right away she goes, whoop, bam. You know, 151 proof, you know. 151 proof, that is. That's 75% alcohol. She asks for a chaser. She's drunk, really drunk. But I was thinking, I'll just take the girl with me, we'll go. So I say, what do you want to do? You want to go to your hotel? I'll just go with her to her hotel, that's the best thing to do. She says, no, I don't want to go to my own hotel.
This guy really knows what he's doing. Did he weigh her down to make her sink?
No, I don't think so.
You don't even know that?
No.
Did he ever tell you how he did it?
Of course he did.
How did he do it then?
He just went out into the sea further and he just dumped her.
He just threw her overboard just like that? You've been really lucky, you know. No, then you've really been lucky.
That's what I say. I've been very lucky.
Really lucky that he has been so stupid to do this, you know.
I was even able to sleep that night. I just went home and went to bed.
That is video from ABC's 2020. It's Jorn Vandersloot showing absolutely no concern about 18-year-old American girl Natalee Holloway likely dumped at sea. Out to the lines, Deborah in Louisiana. Hi, Deborah.
Yes, first of all, I want to say that you're wonderful.
Thank you, and hello to all my Cajun friends. What's your question, dear?
I was just calling. When he said that he was high on marijuana when he talked to this guy, doesn't drugs usually loosen your inhibitions, kind of like the saying, when the wine goes down, the truth comes up?
Excellent question. Now to Dr. Bruce Levy, medical examiner and forensic pathologist, joining us out of Nashville, Tennessee. Dr. Levy, wouldn't pot have the reverse effect, as Deborah in Louisiana is pointing out? I would think that it would give you less ability to lie or to have guile and loosen your inhibitions.
Well, it definitely loosens your inhibitions. I mean, whether you're going to take that loosened inhibitions and tell a story that isn't true and doesn't make any sense, or you're going to come out and tell the truth is hard to say. But what I think is really interesting is what the father said about them being asked about epilepsy right off the bat. You now have a connection between his lying confession, as he says, and what was being asked the family right at the beginning. And as you and I both know, in these cases when people confess, there's always some truth and there's always some lie mixed in together. And trying to figure out what's going on here, you know, is very interesting.
Out to the lines, Jerry in Arkansas. Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Nancy.
What's your question, dear?
My question is on the tape, Yoron made the statement that he would take the name of the person who helped him to his grave. And remember way back in the very beginning when there was a statement made, no body, no crime?
Yes.
And I'm going back now to his father, Paulus. Who would a child protect and take the names to their grave if it weren't a parent?
Well, you are certainly reading the minds of a lot of people. What about it, Jug Twitty?
Well, I'll take his name to my grave, too, because Paulus is the man. I promise you Paulus is involved in this. I truly believe it.
Why do you say that, Jug?
I just do. I met the man face to face the night we got down there. He had no idea we'd show up that quick, and he was the most rude person I've ever seen. And you know, I'm a father too, and no matter what and I love my son to death, but if he did something wrong, I would stand up to it, and we'd just have to deal with it.
Speaking of Paul's Vandersloot, there he is. When he was asked a simple question, oh no, that's his backside, which is what we saw the most of. Whenever anyone would ask him a question, all you would see is backside and elbows, taking off into the night, never answering a question. Look familiar, Jug Twitty? So, at the very beginning, Jug, how was the father to you?
Oh, he was obnoxious. You know, all we were trying to do is ask. I'll never forget, Yoron has lied from the beginning, because as soon as we got there, Beth stayed in the car. We walked up to the house with the police, and we had a picture of Natalee, her senior picture, and showed it to Yoron. Said, have you seen this girl? Nope, never seen her before in my life. You know, so he's lied from the beginning.
I've always felt, you know, a peace in my heart with that I knew that Natalee was with God. And I think now, after hearing Yoron's full admission, I can take even more peace and comfort in knowing that, you know, my prayers were answered and I needed to know what happened. You know, the not knowing is the sheer hell. And the knowing, even though it's difficult, it gives you that ability to have peace and comfort and begin the morning in this journey.